Reggie here, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. In this video, we are going to take a look at the top 10 most submitted books into CGC for the month of March. And this is honestly one of my favorite videos to put together because I feel like it gives us a tremendous amount of insight into what is actually being graded by the comic book community. And for those that may be new to this video, this is one that I put out every single month. The data presented in this video in terms of the actual books comes directly from the folks at CGC. The census data and the sales data is pulled from the Go Collect database. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, I want to encourage you to subscribe if you enjoy this type of content because, as I mentioned, this is something that I do on a regular basis. With that said, let's get to the list. Number 10 on the list is Superman Lost Issue number 1. This book is the big time collectibles edition with its gorgeous cover. Currently, there are 426 copies of this comic on the census with 9 9.9s and 408 9.8s. The remainder of the books are either a 9.6 or 8.5. The 9.8 has a 30-day average value of $109. Number 9 is another Superman book. This one, Superman 1, also from Big Time Collectibles. But this one is the Blue Edition, published in February of this year. There are currently 396 copies of this comic on the census with 127 9.9s and 266 9.8s and just 3 9.6s. The 9.9 has a 30-day average value of $416 versus the 9.8 at just $205. Number 8 on the list, Amazing Spider-Man issue number 17, the Disney variant. This book was in the 15th spot last month, but has moved up the list and has the potential to continue doing so given the popularity of Disney. Currently, there are 817 blue label copies of this comic on the census, with 668 of them coming in at a 9.8. The 9.8 has a 30-day average value of just $67. Number 7 on the list, Superman issue number 1, also from Big Time Collectibles, but this one is the Platinum Edition. There are currently 506 total copies on the census. 2 of those copies are 9.9s, 2 are 9.6s, and the remainder, 502 copies, are a 9.8, which has a 30-day average value of $142. Number 6 on the list is not a stranger in any way, shape, or form. It is Venom, Lethal Protector issue number 1, and this book has been on the list consistently month after month since September 2021. There are currently 15,981 blue label copies on the CGC census. Of those copies, 8,648 of them are a 9.8, which has a stable 30-day average value of $133. Number 5 is Wolverine Issue number 1, the limited series. At present, there are 20,679 blue label copies of this comic on the census, with 3,700 of them being a 9.8. The 9.8 has a 30-day average value of $689. Based upon the data pulled from Go Collect, the value of this book at a 9.8 has been somewhat stable for the last 90 days. Number 4 on the list is XMen Issue number 1, published by Marvel Comics in 1991. Based upon how the CGC database is configured, it is hard to tell which one of these books is flowing into CGC, specifically because there are 5 different covers. But for the purpose of this video, we are going to assume that it is cover E, which is the gatefolds cover. Currently, there are 4,729 blue label copies of the gatefolds on the CGC census. The 9.8 has a 30-day average value of $75. Number 3 is Secret Wars issue number 8. At present, there are 22,459 blue label copies of this comic on the census. The 9.8 has a 30-day average value of $764. Number 2 is Amazing Spider-Man issue number 300, the first full appearance of Venom. There are currently 26,705 blue label copies of this comic on the census. Despite the number of 9.8s remaining stable from last month to this month at 1,403 copies, the value of the 9.8 has declined at both the 30 and 90-day mark. The 30-day average value is down $276 to rest at $37.30. The 90-day average is down $174 to $3,838. And the number 1 book on the list is Spawn, issue number 1. This book has literally only missed the top 20 countdown once in the last 28 months. I started this list back in December of 2020, and it's been somewhere in the top 20 all of that time, with the exception of 1 month. And in some cases, a couple of spawns have actually been on the list simultaneously. I think there was as many as 3 in 1 month. There are currently 22,556 blue labels on the census, with 10,483 of them landing a 9.8, which has a 30-day average value of $173. So there you have it. That is the rundown of the top 10 most submitted books into CGC for the month of March. I want to encourage you to stay tuned to the channel and to subscribe if you haven't. A little bit later this week, I'm going to be releasing the rest of the top 20 in another video, and you definitely do not want to miss that. If you need to reach out to me, feel free to do so on Instagram at Regie Collects. Take care.
This thing on? Mic check. I just want to make sure y'all can hear me clearly. Yo, should you practice art, or should art be your practice? I had a question, so I asked it, not to anyone specifically, but to my inner God, you know, the one that's gonna be a master, the one that's more than a rapper, the one that's an educator, the one that seeks enlightenment. He travels with concepts, he's got the mindset expansive. He understands that his time combined with travel and concepts makes his mind convex. Sort of like when you look at a brain scan, straight off meditation, we was concaving until we had that eternal dialogue that created our dialect. Now we in distinct rooms of pure souls having them conversations, synergy and combinations. You fly and we waiting, Indian style in the gold.